We got a lot to talk about on today's edition of the Red Sox Rundown. The Red Sox declined a trade from the Padres featuring Dylan Cease. They've also reached out to the Marlins around Sandy Alcantara. And is a trade coming with the Los Angeles Dodgers? We have that, plus the Marcelo Mayer injury news. But before we do that, if you have a Red Sox fan in your life that is not subscribed to this channel, do me a favor and share this video with them. This next week is going to be absolutely crazy with the 2025 MLB Trade Deadline on Thursday. You don't want to miss out, and none of your friends that are Red Sox fans want to miss out either. Daily videos and short-form content recapping everything that happens leading up to the trade deadline. So share the video today, and if you do, comment me down below in the comments, and I'll give you a shout-out on a future video. Let's talk about the big news that came out yesterday. Sean McAdam put out a massive article detailing a bunch of Red Sox trade news, notes, rumors, everything under the sun. And we have a lot of very interesting details about what's going on in the Red Sox front office, and the biggest bombshell revolves around the San Diego Padres. So we've got three trade stories we're going to talk about in today's video. We're also going to talk about the Marcelo Mayer injury, and we will recap the Red Sox 5-2 loss to the Dodgers. But let's start with the biggest news, the biggest news of the entire article of all of Red Sox Nation over the last 24 hours. This is from Sean McAdam. In his article, he said, similarly, the Red Sox have signaled interest in Dylan Cease, who would be a rental. The Padres, in their never-ending quest to acquire Jarren Duran, proposed a trade involving Dylan Cease, catching prospect Ethan Salas, and another prospect, not shortstop Leo DeVries, for Jarren Duran, which was quickly rejected. Interesting to say the least. A few things that are very interesting about this. One, Duran's value still, even though he has not reached the level that he did last year, is still very, very high. Number two, the Padres desperately want Duran on their team. And three, the Red Sox are not as willing as I think a lot of us thought they would be to ship Duran off. Because, look, this isn't that good of a package. It really isn't. You've got a struggling Dylan Cease, who is a Scott Boras client, so the odds of you getting an extension in season are very slim. He will hit free agency next year, who has been struggling this year. Great, but what else are you getting us? Ethan Salas, their number 2 prospect in the system, catching prospect that has consistently struggled, has yet to show consistency at a high level, and then some rando other prospect that we don't know. I completely agree with the Red Sox on this. I'm not shipping out Jarren Duran for that package. That package is nowhere near enough for a perennial superstar with years and years and years of team control. It's just not worth it. And with the Red Sox current situation, with Marcelo Mayer out for God knows how long, the outfield logjam is now no longer a logjam. So you actually desperately need Jarren Duran in the outfield now. So a trade like that just isn't enough. But it revealed a few really interesting facts that we went over. His value is still very high. The Padres desperately want him, and the Red Sox are not willing to give him up that easily. The Red Sox hold all the cards here. Does Leo DeVries get put in this trade? If that's the case, we can have another conversation. But with the package that they proposed, I credit Craig Breslow for quickly rejecting it. He could have made a snap decision and accepted the trade to get that pitcher and get some prospects. But like I've said from a while now, Breslow's a little smarter than I think we all give him credit. And rejecting that trade, I think, was the right decision. But you let me know, would you have accepted that Dylan Cease trade? Dylan Cease, Ethan Salas, and another named player to be named later for Jarren Duran. Type T for trade if you would have made the trade. P for pass if you would have passed on the trade. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. You're going to get hit with an ad in a minute. Let the ad play. It helps us here at the Red Sox Rundown. And while it plays, go down below and let me know, would you have accepted that Dylan Cease trade? Next note from Sean McAdam is around Sandy Alcantara. Here's what he had to say. He said, there's little question that pitching remains the Red Sox primary target as the deadline inches closer, of course. In recent days, the Sox have, according to a source, contacted the Miami Marlins to discuss Sandy Alcantara, though to date, no names have been exchanged. So interesting. Sandy's been linked to the Red Sox for over a year now, and the fact that the Red Sox are even calling means that they have at least some sort of interest. Now, I've said this in a few videos now. I would not touch Sandy Alcantara with a 30-foot pole. I don't think that he's worth whatever package you would have to give up. Does he have years of team control? Yes, but he's on a contract that is not cheap. And while he was, the Cy Young winner in, 2022? He's had Tommy John since, and since coming back from Tommy John, has not performed that well. As of late, he's been a little better, but this season has been far from ideal for him. I don't know if this would be the right decision, because I would assume if you're talking Sandy Alcantara, you're talking Jarren Duran or Wilyer Bray or one of those outfielders. And I don't think that's worth it. I think you could get someone so much better either at the deadline or in the offseason, Joe Ryan, that would constitute that trade package. So I'm glad that they are at least expressing interest in these pitchers, but I don't think that any package that it would take would be one that I would be overly excited about. Now, if you get him into the Red Sox system, maybe he goes back to Cy Young form, and I will eat crow till the day I die if that happens. But as of right now, looking at the situation, I just don't think it's worth it to trade for Alcantara. That's just my thought. This is an interesting one. This is the last trade story we're going to talk about, and then we'll get into Meyer and the game. The Red Sox are interested in Dalton Rushing, the catcher from the Los Angeles Dodgers. Here's what Sean McAdam had to say. A few big quotes, so bear with me here. He said, there's also been increasing talk about the Red Sox in the market for additional catching help. We've talked about this. One source said the Los Angeles Dodgers have had a scout doing extensive work on the Red Sox high A affiliate in Greenville with the eye on shortstop Franklin Arias and lefty starter Brandon Clark. Intriguingly, the Dodgers recently sent a second scouting supervisor to double up the organization's coverage at Greenville, which could be a sign of advancing talks between the teams. According to one source with knowledge of the matter, the Red Sox interest is centered around LA catcher Dalton Rushing. Rushing, the second-round pick by the Dodgers in 2022, was considered by many to be the Dodgers' top minor league prospect to start the season. He was promoted to the majors in mid-May, with the Dodgers designating popular veteran catcher Austin Barnes to make room for him. Very, very interesting. So Dalton Rushing, like you said, was considered their number one prospect before he was called up in mid-May, and I did the trade. I went on to baseball trade values. I did the chart, and Franklin Arias, Brandon Clark for Dalton Rushing, it matches the values. I'm not as in tune with Franklin Arias and Brandon Clark. Those guys are, I think have like 2027, 2028 ETAs, so they are still a little far out. But Dalton Rushing would instantly be an upgrade to Connor Wong. Now, Connor Wong got a hold of a few baseballs last night. He did. Now, one of them, the cameraman, it made it look like it was over Lansdowne Street, and then it ended up being a fly out. But it is what it is. But Dalton Rushing would be an upgrade. Now, I will say, Rushing, since he's been called up, has not been a world beater at all. He has struggled. But if you just look at the raw stats, they are still better than Connor Wong. And honestly, anything is better than Connor Wong. But if you can get another young catcher with high upside in your system to back up Carlos Narvaez, I love that youth movement. I would love the youth movement at catcher because not only do you get to keep Carlos Narvaez fresh, but then you've got another young catcher that has the upside to be a dominant offensive player as well. Now he has to prove it. He's a rookie. He's still, he's got work to do. But I don't hate this idea. I think that this is a very interesting idea. Now, would I like to use Franklin Arias for a potential Joe Ryan trade maybe with like a Duran, Arias, Stinson, something like that? Yes, but if you could get a really intriguing catching prospect, catching rookie, to be the backup to Carlos Narvaez for years and years and years and years to come, because he's got the team control, I'd consider it. I definitely consider it. I will not lie, because I think backup catcher is a way bigger need than people are letting on. Because Carlos Narvaez already has shown the rust and the wear and the exhaustion of catching as many games as he has this year. And he needs to have a suitable backup that can come in and have us, have at least a little bit of a sigh of relief, and not, say, oh, well, the 9-hole is an insta out. Like, that can't happen. So if you can get a Dalton Rushing, who is also a rookie, who also has years of team control, they can grow together, they can adapt together, and they can become one of the best catching rooms in all of baseball. That's something you got to consider. But you let me know, would you be interested in Dalton Rushing? Why for yes and for no? I want to hear your thoughts. I definitely am. It's definitely an intriguing thought. The package seems to match up according to the Baseball Trade Values website. I'd think about it. It's definitely something that I'd think of. But the fact that the Dodgers have 2 scouts out in Greenville scouting them, that's got to be a significant sign. So we'll see what happens over the next few days. See if a trade does end up happening. Let's talk about Meyer. It's not good. We don't have full information. He got placed on the IL yesterday with a right wrist sprain. David Hamilton got called up. That was the corresponding move. Meyer described feeling a tight grab on a swing during his second at-bat against Philly, the at-bat where he walked and then scored. And that's all we really know. He got the MRI. We don't really know the results. We know it's a sprain, no bone damage or anything, which is a good sign, but we don't know the extent of the sprain. And Meyer said he was going to talk yesterday to the trainers and find out more. We don't really have any information. It's kind of a weird situation. We just don't know. There's no information out there. And usually we know this stuff a little bit quicker. But this is significant, because Meyer was a very integral part to this team. I know he didn't play every single day, but he was desperately needed depth at third with Bregman. Now, Bregman is back to full force now, which is good, but he's still not 100%. We can see him running up the base paths. We know he's not 100%. He was your backup third baseman, which was very important. And he also played a lot of second base. So, Cora said that you're going to see a lot of Ceddanne Rafael at second base, which means that it's Anthony, Duran, Wilyer as your outfield. That's what we talked about at the beginning of the video with the Cease trade. I don't know if an outfield trade happens now, because you need all 3 of them. The outfield logjam is no longer a logjam. Now, I don't want Marcelo Mayer getting hurt, but it does fix the logjam issue. So I don't know at this point if a trade of an outfielder is going to happen, because they need all of their outfielders now. But we'll see what the prognosis is. We'll see how bad the sprain is. We'll see how long he's out. And we'll see what happens. I don't know. They talked about, someone mentioned surgery, but I don't think that that's a thing that's going to have to happen. There's a lot of unknown. As soon as we get details, I'll make a short. I've been making shorts on all of this news. So if we find out that he's going to need surgery or something, I'll make a short and make sure that that you're covered. And that's why you subscribe, because you'll get all the news as soon as it happens. Just show Meyer some love. He's been very injury prone in the past. That is something that is definitely a concern with Marcelo Mayer. He's had wrist issues before. So you never want to see that happen, especially he's had a promising start to his career. He hasn't, been a world beater by any stretch of the imagination, but he's been good though. And you never want to see a player go down with injury, especially one of these young kids. So show him some love. Just spam 39s in the comments. Spam his jersey number down below in the comments. Just show him some love. Show the kid some love. Hopefully he rests up, gets better, and is not gone for too long. When we know what happens with Meyer, I'm going to make a short like I already said. That's why you subscribe. Daily Red Sox coverage around everything that is happening. We're going to be live for the MLB Trade Deadline. We're going to have videos every time the Red Sox make a trade. That is my guarantee to you. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Join the family today. We are so close to our goal of 4,000 subscribers. Help us continue to grow. 4,000 is a huge milestone for the channel. So you already know what to do. If you've not already, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's run through the game. Kind of a nothing burger. Kind of a boring game. Red Sox lose 5-2 to the Dodgers. They are now 2-5 since coming back from the All-Star break. The Rays lost, so that's good. You're not losing any ground on that end. And I do need to see how the other teams did today. Texas is winning, so they're going to gain some ground. They're not going to take over a spot in the wild card, but they are, it's not just the Rays. Like the Rangers were a game and a half back going into today as well. They're going to be a half a game back if they win tonight. And then the Guardians are 2.5 back. So there's 3 teams that are on your tail that you got to continue to keep below you. And the only way you can do that is win games. And the Red Sox have not been winning games. Bayo looked fine. Really, it was just you got to tip your cap to the Dodgers. They put on a clinic of how to hit situationally. You have the Teoscar Hernandez home run in the 8th, which, kind of put the game away. But until that, the 3 runs came on good situational hitting. And that's something the Red Sox should take into account is good situational hitting. I mean, you look back in the first inning, you have 2 runners on with, I believe, it was 2 on with 1 out, and he didn't score anybody. And that's a missed opportunity. I think it was 2 strikeouts to end the inning. Like, that's a missed opportunity that you cannot have happen. And the Dodgers, who are a better team, who are the defending World Series champions, who have the best odds to win the World Series again this year, showed you tonight what situational hitting looks like. They didn't even have Mookie Betts in the lineup. He's going to be back today. And they still were able to put together really good at-bats and have good situational hitting. You held Shohei to only 1 hit, which was really great to see. You struck him out twice, but it's just not enough. Like, this is a relentless Dodger lineup. You only got 5 hits, 2 walks. You struck out 8 times. It just was a lot of weak contact, weak pop-outs, nothing to write home about. No one had a multi-hit game. Duran went 1 for 3. Bregman went 1 for 4. He had an RBI. Duran also had an RBI as well. Story went 1 for 4. Yoshida went 1 for 4. Wong had his first ever extra base hit of the season, which was crazy to see. But everyone else went 0 for, and that's just not going to do it at the end of the day. And then, like I said, Bayo was fine. He gave you a 5 1/3, gave up 3 runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks. I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad. I mean, you'll take that any day of the week. Chris Murphy was a dog. He only gave up 1 run, but he gave you an inning. He gave you basically 2 innings and only gave up 2 hits, 3 Ks. Jorge Alcala, who's been phenomenal this season, gave up the 2-run shot. Just very, very unfortunate on his part. It is what it is. I don't really know what to say on that front. He's been good all year, and eventually you will give something up, and it's just kind of an unfortunate situation. 10 Ks, I mean, the Dodgers struck out more than you did. They also put together better at-bats and had better situational hitting than you did as well. So, look, they got to start winning. This is the toughest stretch of their schedule, and they're 2 games away from being done with it. That's a good thing, but still, like, these are good teams. These are the teams you would face in the playoffs. You would face in the World Series if it started today. And the fact that they are kind of getting their asses kicked and getting shown that they're like the little brother, it's a little concerning. So we'll see what happens. Crochet's on the mound today against Clayton Kershaw. An absolute electric pitching matchup. I am very excited to watch it. But you let me know, do the Red Sox win the series? Yes or no? Give me a simple yes or no down below in the comments. I think you should have won last night. Emmett Sheehan on the mound. I thought that they had a really good shot to win, and they didn't. The only really good thing that came out of this is you used 4 of their relievers to only 3 of yours. So that's a good thing, I guess. You ate into their bullpen a little bit, but at the end of the day, a loss is a loss, and you cannot keep losing because teams are gaining ground on you in the wild card, and that is something that you have to consider with the deadline less than a week away. That's it, guys. That's where I'm going to end it. Thank you all so much for watching. Like I said, if you are here at the end of the video and you're not already subscribed, obviously you like what we're doing, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the family. The trade deadline is less than a week away. There's going to be a lot of stuff happening, a lot of coverage coming out of this channel, so don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button, and until next time, go Sox.